Guys, finally happened. My heat is off and I'm ill. I just did a podcast interview with Jonathan Fink, really good channel about Ukraine. He had on some really good guests. But I feel so bad. Like, I drank this huge thing of ginger, honey, obliprynchka tea while talking to him, but now my throat is gone. So I gotta rest a bit. And I hope this heat comes back on soon. Because then that's when the real suffering begins, right? It's all cold to the touch. Oh, it's not good. Today, fortunately, the sun has been out, but this whole last week's been rainy and kind of cold and dreary. And right here, it's very, very nice because you have the sun on my back. But like literally as soon as I walk into the shade, you feel the temperature drop and it gets really cold. So it is a, strange winter. Like there's a lot more sun at kind of mid-December than I expected, which is appreciated when there is. But it really is unreliable. Like it really comes and goes, where I'm always shocked and surprised. I think that's why sometimes you see people just kind of hanging around and enjoying the sun when it comes out. So the reason why I said I haven't had heat for at least 2 days is because honestly I didn't notice for the first day. My apartment is really well insulated. I'm very lucky that I have mostly new windows and kind of very thick walls where it keeps in the heat a lot. And I haven't opened the windows in weeks because it's winter, and I'm not my crazy parents who love letting air in the house to ventilate it. Don't worry, I cook with the fan on, so I'm not getting like CO2 poison or anything. But in general, like my house stays warm when it's warm. And because I thought I was one of the very fortunate ones, the very lucky ones in Ukraine, who has had heat this whole time without it turning off, I just never really bothered to check. We have central heating through the city, so I have no control over it anyways. So it's like hot water running through radiators 24/7 at a regulated 19 to 22 degrees on average. And I have no control anyway, so there's no reason for me to even look at it or touch it. I didn't notice until I was being interviewed one day for like an hour-long podcast. Really good episode, by the way, Silicon Curtain. Check them out. I'll have a link to them below. And I was sitting right next to my heater in my office room, my guest bedroom. And because I'm also next to the window, I started feeling like a draft, a little bit cold. And I was like, what's going on? So I touched it and I realized the heat is off in Kyiv. I know it's not a surprise to a lot of you, anyone who has the news, because the heat's been off for a lot of people. But I've been very, very lucky where my building has had heat. So now I gotta suffer along with everyone else. You can see the piles of snow just kind of to the side everywhere. They do clean this off very nicely though, but you can tell it's not summer in Kansas anymore. I don't know why I said Kansas. All right, guys, I just got home and I have electricity takeaway, but no heat still. Today is a very strange day. My apartment, the whole day has had electricity and running water, but the rest of the city, almost everyone I know, had nothing. My friend who came said she couldn't shower because there's no water the whole day, and her phone was at 4%, actually 2% by the time she arrived because she couldn't charge her phone. So her and pretty much everybody in the restaurant was charging their phones in outlets. But that restaurant, and pretty much all the restaurants on my street, they had full electricity, they were warm, and I had amazing food. I had like flame grilled ribs and bone marrow, as well as like just like good food. Another friend wrote that he has a bathtub full of water because there was power water cuts, but I still have water. I should probably fill that up though, but I'm not going to. Why am I not going to? Because I have, what, 20 liters of water stashed here, and my gym has water. Tomorrow I'm going to a sauna. They have water, so unless this lasts more than, unless my water cuts out today and lasts more than 2 days, then I'll be kind of fucked. But then I'll probably just go somewhere else. I don't know. I should be better prepared, but at the same time, it's like what they call normalcy bias, where you're like, you know what, my place is okay, so why go too out of the way? If that makes sense. It is a bit hard to dry this when the heat's not working, but I have heated floors, so I turn them on in the kitchen to keep the place a bit warm and also to dry this. So, yeah. It's dry today. Here you go. This is probably not. Actually, it's pretty dry, actually, to be honest. Oh, no, not yet. Let me let that sit for a bit. So instead of sleeping in this room tonight, I'm gonna sleep in the smaller room. All right, guys, good night. I'm gonna go to bed. As you can see, I'm not in my bedroom. I'm actually in the guest room. Because it's smaller and there's no heat. So I figured I'll probably be easier to stay warm here. I think this will actually be enough for that little blanket, but I mean, if worse comes to worse, I'll just grab the another blanket and double up. So I'll survive. See you guys in the morning. Morning, guys. The heat's still off, but at least it's not snowing outside. It was cold, but I put on an extra sweater, extra blanket. It was okay. I'll survive another day. The lights on? Well, lights are off, so there's no power, there's no heat. Hopefully the water works. Close one. Oh, this is water. I know it sounds crazy, but as long as there's 2 out of the 4, right? So there's the 4 necessities is heat, power, running water, and internet. If one of them goes down, it's really not that big of a deal. If 2 of them goes down, it sucks, but we can survive. But if 3 or 4 of them go down, that's when you start to worry. So luckily today, even though there's no heat and there's no electricity, at least you're running water. Let's check if I have internet. Alright, well, there's no internet, no heat. I have to leave the house. There's no internet, there's no heat, there's no electricity. So I'm gonna go find a coffee shop that hopefully has at least 2 of the above. Guys, I'm still a little bit ill, mostly from this weather change. It didn't help that I didn't have heat in my apartment last night, but I slept with the merino wool buff, a wool kind of base layers, and a sweater, and 2 blankets. So, I mean, I was relatively warm, but, and I checked the temperature inside the house. It's actually still holding pretty well. I have good insulation, but we'll see what happens after another day without heat. The street lights are working, so that's always a good sign. That means at least some people have power. Just that I don't in my house. To put all this into perspective, yesterday was the biggest missile attack on Kyiv since the start of the war. I was actually a little bit surprised. I woke up to a message from my lawyer, who's currently in Switzerland. She says, "Johnny, get out of Kyiv." And I was like, what? And I checked the news really quickly, and I saw, yes, there was a air raid and an attack on Ukraine again. 70 missiles. That's kind of what we're used to now.
This morning, Russia launching a new wave of missile strikes across Ukraine, clouding the sky over Kyiv and forcing Ukrainians underground.
It's kind of making you scared.
Yeah, you get used to it.
The strikes come as Ukrainian officials warn of a renewed push for the capital. The commander of the armed forces of Ukraine telling The Economist, quote, Russians are preparing some 200,000 fresh troops. I have no doubt they will have another go at Kyiv.
So it turned out that those 70 missiles that attacked Ukraine, the majority of them were actually targeted toward Kyiv. So for whatever reason, Putin really wanted to make a point and knock us out. But thankfully, with all the Western support of air defense, we were able to knock down all but 3 of them. But even 3 of them caused us much damage. So imagine if we didn't have that air defense. So I'm so grateful, so fortunate to everybody in the West, NATO countries, the US, and others who've been donating air missile defense. Because without that, we'd be fucked. Like, we would be so screwed. This is my favorite coffee shop. This normally opens at 8 a.m., but looks like they're closed. But they have power here, which is weird. All right, let's keep going. You know, actually, there's a chance that the reason why that coffee shop isn't open. I know it says 10 a.m. on the front door, but I've been there a bunch of times throughout the last month, and it's been always open at 8. It's like one of the only places that opens early. But I was gonna say, yesterday was actually the first time where the metros didn't work. So I had a friend who wanted to come visit and have dinner. She left the country before the war, and she came back just to visit for holidays, and she couldn't get to me. She said the metros weren't working, so she had to take a taxi. But because everybody else was taking a taxi, the wait was crazy long, and the fares were double or triple than they are normally. So this is kind of state of things right now. It's a very gloomy day, guys. So you might be wondering why I didn't just pick her up, or why I haven't been driving my car lately. And it's because I unplugged it. I unplugged the battery, put it into long-term storage. The car, before it gets driven again, I need to do something about that coolant leak, because I did top it up, but it's back down to the minimum again, which is still technically drivable because it's not at 0, it's just at the minimum, but that's also not healthy. So I have to find time to go get that repaired. So it's something I kind of don't want to do, guys. I don't want to go all the way to the left bank again after last time getting stuck there in the blackout and it being in the dark. It's just so dangerous. Like it's hard to explain, guys, but driving in the winter is already dangerous. Things are slippery. Driving without electricity in the dark is extremely dangerous. And the combination of all that, trying to cross the bridges in a foreign country during war, it's not worth the risk of hitting somebody. You know, there's people walking around wearing all black, and for some reason most people like wearing black during winter. These black puff jackets, you can't see anybody. Some people are smart enough now to wear like reflective strips or carry lights. A lot of people are just wearing black puff jackets, and at night you just can't see anybody. Maybe why those white stripes from Adidas became so popular, because you can actually see that. Well, it looks like it has power. Let's see if it's open already. It's just a few minutes before 9, so maybe it's still a bit too early. fridge open. So it doesn't look like they're officially open yet. As you can tell, they're still cleaning up. I think I'm gonna try to sit here and just wait because it is cold outside. So hopefully they don't mind if I just hang out for a bit. But you can tell they definitely cleaned up from yesterday still. So I'm sitting right next to the heater. It's on 5. It's cold, so there's no heat, but somehow it's not too cold in here. I just connected to the internet. And it seems like it's not working. You know what? The other one wasn't working. Fast.com, which only gives you the download speed. And that seems to work. And wow, it is fast. Good job, guys. No heat, no electricity, no internet, no problem. Johnny got up to use my water this morning to wash my face, brush my teeth, walked here, about 10 minutes away, and now I have this beautiful little setting, fast internet. It's relatively warm, even though these radiators aren't working. Maybe that's working. Maybe they have a backup heat source. But a nice view, look at this. Come on, guys. This is awesome, right? Beautiful view, nice place, and better internet than you can get in a lot of countries, even during normal times. Cute puppy there. And here is my office of the day. And Americano and croissants. And this view. It is a bit cold though, without heat, but I always have this blanket and hot coffee, so I'll be okay. Alright guys, this was a very nice little office for about an hour, but it's too cold. So I'm actually gonna head home where, even though I don't have heat, at least it's insulated well without these big windows. That's a bit too freezing for my taste. But this place is really cool. It's called the Octagon Tower of Power. It's like 3 or 4 floors of different like cafes and bakeries and things. I don't know why I never come here. Oh, okay. It is so much warmer in my house than it is in that cafe. That cafe was beautiful to sit at for a bit, but it's just too cold. It's just too cold. I normally never close these doors, but I'm just trying to keep the heat from these kitchen heated floors. Actually, I should close this door as well. I kept the curtains closed, just to keep the cold out from outside, because you can feel it. Like as soon as you have glass, it's cold. Oh, all right, so I got my sweater on. You know, for those who ask why I don't move back to San Francisco with my parents during this, you know, this war, and also with no electricity and no heat. Well, first, I'm a grown man. Why would I live with my parents? Like anyone who's commenting that, are you really gonna move in with your parents as a grown adult man? Like, what's wrong with you guys to even suggest that? I'd rather just rent my own place somewhere else in the world. But then, if I did, why would I move back to San Francisco where it's overpriced and expensive? I'd rather just go to Thailand or something. Secondly, it's cold in my parents' house. It's colder there right now, literally as we speak, than it is in Ukraine where it's 0 degrees. And it's colder, it's probably freezing in their house because they like to keep the windows open. So it's not even about insulation or, you know, installing double pane windows for them. It'd be a waste of money because they like to keep windows open, like literally throughout the house, in every room, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and I hate it. It's like, it's the most uncomfortable thing to have it be colder inside your house than it is outside. And this is why I don't live, well, one of the reasons why I don't move back to San Francisco, I don't live with my parents. It still boggles my mind when people suggest that. Meanwhile, here in almost all the rooms, we have these nice double pane windows. It keeps it so warm. So even though this is off, it stays warm. And with these radiated floors, which actually use very little electricity, they basically heat up the whole apartment. So I'm gonna keep that door closed. I spend a lot of time here because it's a small room, so I want this warm. But really, that's it. I'm not sure what the exact temperature is in here, but it's relatively warm enough. Like if you just put on a sweater and have some hot tea, nice insulated windows. It's been probably 24 hours now without heat, but like as long as I don't open the windows, it's fine. I even have a mini split, which is a heater, but you see it's off. Trying to save a bit of electricity, so it's an option if it gets really cold, but so far I don't even need it. And I know I'm very lucky. I know not every person in Ukraine, actually I would say most people in Ukraine don't have the luxury of having, you know, a very well insulated warm apartment, but at the same time everybody is surviving somehow. Like whether they're going to a friend's house that is warm and just staying there, or they're, you know, putting on extra clothes, extra blankets, or having a small space heater. You know, people are suffering. It's kind of a weird dichotomy where I never want these videos to be, you know, me bragging about how comfortable my life is in a war zone, because it's not, number one, and also just because I'm relatively comfortable doesn't mean other people are. But at the same time, it's a reminder that whatever Russia says, it's mostly BS, where they think we're gonna freeze out and we're just gonna decide to give in to Russia and live under Russian rule or occupation. Like, they're like absolutely joking, like absolutely bonkers if they believe that.
Comment down below how
I'm literally watching
Russian news reporting
this Jig Bro video.
Затратах на электроэнергию.
Чиновникам в Польше запретили заряжать телефоны на рабочем месте. Греть чай тоже запрещено. А работать в офисах скоро начнут при свечах.
Но в Германии перед Рождеством закончились все свечи. Но раскупили их не ради...
Russian state TV's claims children in Europe are having to use plastic bags instead of toilets. British women must prostitute themselves to pay their utility bills. France is experiencing rolling blackouts. People in the UK are now eating pet food. People in Poland cook their food by burning trash. People in Hungary must use bike pedal generators to light their Christmas trees. Polish people must now drink their tea cold. The Polish government workers must work by candlelight. Germany has completely run out of candles, and Estonia is completely out of power. I don't live in Europe. If you're one of my European viewers, let me know in a comment down below how accurate this Russian news reporting currently is.
Guys, it's day 3 without heating in the house, and this room is freezing now. And I only come in here, actually, to use a closet and get changed. I've been sleeping in the other room because it's so much smaller. I've been keeping all the doors closed, as you see, just to keep heat in. This room is significantly warmer. I don't know if it's like because it's all internal rooms with just this small window, even though it is the older style window, but it's still very warm. But this room is really warm. And here, because we have so many windows, like literally it's a whole wall of windows. I mean, this is actually new double paned windows, as you can see. And I have the outside windows, the balcony. This is the old style one. So I think this one is colder, but I think it's just because there's so many windows. And they're like floor to ceiling. Maybe sometimes in videos it's hard to tell how high my ceilings are, but they're like 3 of me, I guess, 2 or 3 of me, like 15-foot ceilings. So basically this whole room, it feels like a refrigerator. I could sleep in here if I put like another blanket, but it would be really cold. And honestly, just even getting dressed, I feel really cold. Luckily, I do have a heater, a mini split, but I don't want to waste electricity, so I haven't been turning it on.
United States. Russia's foreign ministry says if the U.S. provides Ukraine with the Patriot air defense missile system, it will be a provocative move that could entail possible consequences. 3 U.S. defense officials tell NBC News Secretary Lloyd Austin is poised to approve Ukraine's request for the sophisticated air defense system as soon as this week. The U.S. is also planning to expand military training for Ukrainian forces. The Pentagon says they will begin training 500 troops a month in January, and that training will take place in Germany.